there's some people in the bushcraft community that are off-gridders as well. And an off-gridder is someone who lives or wants to live disconnected from the power grid. And there are people who want to live more self-sufficiently on their own. There was a couple of those here, and they have kind of a vacation property that's off-grid that they're working on, where they have little cottages, and they're planning to, I guess, retire to them eventually. And that's something I have an interest in. I enjoy solving technical problems. In the off-grid world where you're living with only the electricity you can make on your own property, there's a lot of little problems to solve. We've become accustomed to being able to go down to the store and buy electric this and electric that to do everything. And when the only electric you get is what comes from the sun, you have to find ways to do stuff that doesn't consume all of your electric capacity. And in part of my off-grid interest is kind of tied to that hand-crank drill press that we picked up last night. And I don't know that I'll ever live off-grid, but the wife and I are talking about it, and she's not obviously completely as thrilled with that idea as I am. But we may come to that eventually. It's up for discussion. It's friendly discussion. We are talking about reducing our living footprint. We would, she's been watching the Tiny House program, which I think is it's on A&E or whatever it is, Discovery Channel. And she's starting to appreciate the appeal of a simpler life. I don't really want a tiny house. I don't want something that small. But I can certainly be very, very happy with 1,000 square feet. I don't want the big house anymore. I really don't care what anybody thinks of my home. The people that are going to judge me by how much I've invested in my home aren't people that I really care what they think anyways. That's really not important anymore. I'm interested in being free and lowering how much I'm jacked into the system and running in the rat race, on the damn treadmill, supporting 150 million people who don't want to work. I want to disconnect from that. I want to try to lower my tax burden and just get away from these people that are sucking lifeblood out of the rest of us who are productive. It's not to say that some people don't need those programs. I'm sure they do, but I'm sure those people are very, very, very few relative to the number of people who are just sitting back on their haunches. I mean, hey, I could live a great life on that stuff. You give me $1,800-$1,900 a month, and that I don't have to lift a finger for, and I'll be just fine on that. I can make it, and I can make enough extra spending money in the interim to live just fine. We've just got an epidemic of people addicted to the state taking things from other people to give to them. We've got to get past this in this world. It's just, there's some personal value in being productive and supporting yourself. And every person who can support themselves, I think, has a right to do so without being interfered with tons of milk and honey being delivered from the state. It's just a terrible, terrible situation. But I would like to, one of the things we've talked about is becoming professionally homeless. And what I mean by that is I could be very happy living in an RV or a fifth wheel. And what I would love to have is a 10 or 20 acre farm with a woodland on it, and a nice metal farm building. Possibly we would put one there, a modern building, and maybe something that had 5,000 or 6,000 square feet in it. And in the summertime, you roll the RV out.
8.9 miles, exit right.
In the summertime, you roll the RV out and live in it outside. And in the wintertime, you roll it inside and protect it from the worst of the winter. And then meanwhile, we can do our hobbies like our Airstream hobby. We can have all kinds of workshop space in a farm building and not really have a home that could be taxed in the sense of how it's taxed today. Now, I'm sure, you're not totally escaping, but you're weaning yourself.
Exit right.
You're weaning yourself off of the system, which is something that I would certainly like to do. And, you could build a little bit of a living space, maybe a bathroom and a TV room or a recreational room inside the barn building. I don't know, it's just one of them things I've been thinking about experimentally. I don't need a lot of room.
Turn right.
Anymore for my personal living. Well, we're getting off I-75. We're very much closer. Let's see, it's 8:37. Says we'll be there at 9:41, so we've been on the highway for about an hour.
Continue 20 miles.
And we've got about an hour of windy, twisty country road to get back into this place. I'm beginning to wonder how old this Garmin Nuvi is.
Recalculating.
I'm driving on a relatively new road. It's got me driving through the countryside. Recalculating. Take the next left. Just goes on and on and on. I think there must have been an old twisty road here that they straightened out. Just about to Route 27. Wow, the flag is peeking its way out on the GPS right there. Getting ready to cross into Tennessee. I think there's a little town around this intersection. There's the flagpole. Pretty awesome. Tennessee line, state line gas and grill. Driving out of the town of Oneida. We're on 297 heading back towards Brandy Creek. Should be there in 22 minutes.
8.3 miles.
Just passed by the Big South Fork recreation area sign. We've got about 8 more miles to go before we get to this campground. I think we may be past all the homes on this park road. I noticed there was a sign that said driveway connectors with permit only. So in this case, it's a government road that you can own property next to, but you can't get on and off of your property with a vehicle unless you have a permit. Isn't that interesting? There's some crazy roads that lead into this place. I've already done a couple of real tight S-turns. 10 miles an hour. Better pay attention to that speed sign. Wonder how many big rocks they have fall on this road in a decade. Be a fun road, the right kind of little sports car. Someone tells me you need good brakes, keep from overheating them. You're not going to speed on this road and stay out of trouble long. Big South Fork River. Oh yeah, just look down over to the right. I saw the washed out bridge that we hiked across at the end of our 10-mile hike last year. Bill in the Hills promised us it was mostly downhill. It might have been mostly downhill, but boy, that was a tough 10-mile hike. Wow, this is a sharp corner. Almost had the steering wheel over to a lock. Back up the other side of the valley. Yeah, I hope to go on 2 hikes this year instead of 1, but that 10-mile hike, it about destroyed my feet. It was, I don't know if it was bruises on the bottom of my feet from stepping on rocks or what, but it was about a week before I was completely recovered and my feet weren't hurting. Boy, it was sure hard to stand up the next day after that hike. I think that's 10 miler is probably a little outside of what I ought to do. I'm just not, my feet aren't tough enough for it. Wouldn't mind doing a couple of 4 or 5 milers. Hopefully they've planned a couple of hikes. I think when it comes to a hike, I'm probably just ready to go along with somebody else. Here we are. Denny. It's Billy Joe Denny. I made it. And you guys are already in here.
Yeah.
Well, it's good to see you, Ken.
Yeah, good to see you too.
Awesome.
Man,
You got a bigger crowd this year?
we already have 27 people in here.
Yeah. That's awesome. So is there campsites open still?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, their campsite. We'll probably have to double up more and stuff like that.
Okay.
You know, in sites.
Okay.
And I'm thinking that if it really gets big, people could be camping in the middle. Actually, I think it'd be more fun to camp in the middle.
Be noisy at night because they like to stay up and talk.
And, you know, last year we spent more time in the screen room and stuff. I don't know how much because the weather's perfect.
Yes. Yeah, it's beautiful. Well, maybe we'll do a couple hikes this year.
And we did one. In fact, we did one before it started.
Yeah.
We did a 10-mile hike. That 10-mile hike wore us out. We did. It was overnight. We're going to do another overnight. We're going to do different things. Depends what people want to do.
Okay.
And we've got one person here from the first meetup with Bob and I. Well, there's a guy named Richard, and so he's here from that first meetup. And then we got most of the guys from last year. And then we got a whole bunch of new people.
Okay.
And there's one person who'll be here on Monday from the UK.
Yeah, who's that?
I don't remember his name now. It's not my friend Sandy Jack who makes the line.
Yeah, I knew it wasn't him, but I checked his channel.
There was another guy, and I don't know him. He has sent me, he says he already has his tickets, his reservations a while ago.
Yeah.
And so he will be here, but he won't be here. I suspect he's coming here to the States for something else.
Yeah.
You know, you're coming here, you wouldn't come and be late.
Right.
Yeah, but he said he'll be here on Monday. And then they're day people, and it's just fun.
Okay.
It's less spontaneous than it was. But the bigger things get. There's even an agenda page up there. But we've already...
Wow, it's getting more organized.
We're supposed to have Billy Joe's leading a Twin Arches walk.
How long is that?
It's an hour to drive there and an hour walk and get back. He was supposed to start at 9 o'clock, but it probably won't be till 9. So we keep changing it, We're not organized.
Is that today or tomorrow?
Today.
Oh, wow.
And then when you get back at around 2:30 or so, we're going to have a little welcome thing, and we're going to have a community dinner tonight.
Okay. All right, very good. Let me know if you need me to do anything or help with anything, okay? And I'll circle around like a shark and see where I want to stay.
And, welcome to stay with any one of us.
Okay. Very good.
As long as you get your truck in and it doesn't get, doesn't block anybody else in.
Well, I'll try to find my...
Billy Joe may be moving his site over here so he can sleep, with his machine.
Yeah.
And, nobody here is disabled. I wonder.
It's tempting to just get up in the grass here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know that there are any rules about that. Nobody said that.
I don't know why they would care.
The site can take 116 people, and the number of spots, though, we have for cars don't allow more than maybe 15 or 20 sites. And so...
Now, isn't this the same one we were in last year?
This is a different one. This is a larger one.
Feels like the same one.
No, it's the next one over.
Okay.
This has trees in the center, and the other one didn't.
Okay.
This is larger in terms there's more campsites, so it's rated for more because it's disabled.
Yeah.
Anyway, this was the only one available because we got this 6 months in advance.
And it was still the only one available.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, you needed the bigger one.
Yeah, we needed the bigger one.
Yeah.
Anyway, so him, it'll just play by the way it plays.
Okay. Well, I'm going to find a place to call home.
Glad to see you.
You too.